dead. I just want to go fast.
In today's video, Daniel Ricciardo challenges me to a 1v1 challenge.
F1 22 is free to play over the USGP race weekend. Let's go.
Now shout out to EA for making this possible and sponsoring today's video. So, as you just saw, Daniel Ricciardo has challenged us and we're going to try and beat his time at the circuit of the Americas. A 1 minute 33.519. I'm going to show you my best lap and also how to kind of, do those fine details to really set a decent lap time. Now with that said, I want to mention F1 22 is free to play this weekend, guys. So across all platforms, if you want to give it a go, you've been wondering whether to get the game or not, this is your chance to try it. So you're going to get, an opportunity over the US Grand Prix weekend at COTA. And while you're at it, feel free to jump in with this challenge, hashtag the Ricciardo challenge, and let's see if you guys can get anywhere near my lap time, because Ricciardo's time is okay. Mine is a bit better, and I think if you beat my time, I'll be very impressed. So let's watch the lap in full, first of all in regular speed, and then we'll break it down and talk about the fine details. First and foremost, setting up the exit out of the final corner onto the main straight. DRS wide open, and you prepare the turn 1 brake zone. Blind apex, brake at the black box on the right, down to 3rd or 4th gear. Very important here to try and get a nice clean exit as you go downhill through turn 2. And now we head to the S section. Flat out through 3, 4, slight lift through 5, and then a downshift through 6 and 7, then into 8, important to hold it in 6th gear, and then into 9 and 10, down to 5th, use lots of inside curb to maximise the lap time, and then use all run-off curb as you plunge downhill, and now prepare the hairpin. I'd say about 65 meters is your reference to brake here, down to 4th gear. Important to take a V-shaped line where you go into the apex very tight, get the rotation, and then focus and drive off straight to maximise traction. DRS open along the back straight as we now make our way into the heavy brake zone of turn 14, I believe. 100 meter board down to 4th, cut the inside curb, even more than that if you like, as you won't get in trouble for it. Then into the double rights, hold it in 4th and then quickly up to 5th through this entire sequence, then back down to 4th for this double left. Important here, take a nice wide line to cut back and get a good exit. And now flat out through the triple rights, keeping the car nice and tight as we have a bit of a moment in 7th gear. And now the penultimate corner, blind apex, turn in and hope that you don't invalidate. And now the final corner, brake at the black box on the right down to 4th, lots of inside curb, smooth up the traction and across the line. And there we go, a 1:32.256 is my lap time. Can you do any better? Now let's get into the nitty gritty and into the real details of the lap and a few pointers and tricks for you guys to really improve lap time here. So curb riding is essential. You have to cut the curbs to find lap time. This isn't one of my best circuits, so I'm probably not the best person for advice, but I'm going to give you the best advice I can. So first and foremost, the final corner, setting up the exit is really, really key. So I'm going to say try and take a nice wide line and then try to straight line the exit as much as you can. Really important to get a nice clean drive and open the DRS as we head up to turn 1. Now when you get to turn 1, the first reference is going to be the black box on the right. There's a white line just after that, but for me the black box is my braking reference, somewhere in between those two depending on your confidence. Now I would say go down to 4th gear, but in this case I use 3rd to try and get the car stopped and get some extra rotation. Short shift to 5th on exit to make sure you get a nice smooth run, because down the hill you tend to lose the back end and it's very easy to spin the rears. Turn 2's flat, then into the S's of course. The first 2 I'd say are flat, and then for the 3rd one you're taking a slight lift, and I got very lucky here to not pick up an invalidation. I'm actually over the white line, which is insane, but we just about got away with it, and that is kind of the level and the limit you want to push for. The next one is a double apex right. You want to try and stay relatively tight, but at the same time focus more on the 2nd apex, and you need to try and get that 2nd apex and bring the car all the way to the right to then open the next left. Very important here to hold that momentum going throughout this entire sequence and stay on the throttle. Now then, we reach the critical point. You've got through the S's, you've nailed every single apex, and now you have this right-left chicane. Track limits is key here, and you're going to be pushed and tested to the limit. But for this one, for the right-hander, use all the red tarmac on the right to open up the left and be aggressive, cut over the sausage curb to maximize your run. Again, very lucky here to not invalidate as I'm right on the limit of what's possible. Make sure you don't run out of bounds on the exit and then you plunge downhill as we approach the hairpin. Now for this one, hold it in 7th gear, don't go up to 8th, brake at about 65 meters. You could push the 50 a bit more if you want to. For this one, I'd say hold 4th gear if you can get away with it. As I mentioned before, important to take a V-shaped line. Now that means basically straight line braking and aiming your car towards the apex. When you get to the apex, rotate and then drive off straight. So again, we're replicating the V-shaped line, not a kind of normal, circumferential or round line that you'd normally take for a standard corner. Important to avoid the exit curb as you head down the back straight, DRS wide open, and at this point you get a bit of a breather, a chance to catch your breath and, relax. At this point, I had done other attempts and I was up about a 10th more in different attempts, but I wasn't able to hook it all up. And now we arrive at a very crucial brake zone. So, turn 14, I believe, end of the back straight. Brake at the 100, maybe even later. I'd say about 85 meters if you can really push it. For this one, 4th or 3rd gear, both work for me, but you want to cut this curb a lot more. You want to be like, on the left, your front left tire needs to be between, the orange and the grass, kind of, going through there. You can get away with this one because you'll have one tire on the tarmac at all times when you're crossing over the curb. So you can afford to really risk it here and find some lap time. Avoid the exit curb, which I didn't quite manage, and I had to just delay my traction input as we now head into the double rights. Now for this one, it's a bit of a tricky one. Depending on setup and also your racing lines, you'll find different balances. So for me, I go in 4th gear, I go in pretty early, and then I short shift to 5th for the short squirt down to the double lefts. For this one, I try to open up the line as much as I can to cut back underneath for the 2nd apex and absolutely floor it off the corner, hopefully without any wheel spin. Then through the triple right, you want to try and stay super tight because you'll find a lot of lap time. I actually have a bit of a moment and it cost me, I'd say about 3/4 of a tenth through there. Now into the penultimate corner, this is where your lap can be made or broken, literally. This is a toss of the coin. You've got to go in with supreme confidence and hope it sticks. Now, if we're looking at a reference, you've got a black box on the right. You could see, you could use that as a bit of a reference in terms of when to turn in. That's the only thing you might have, so bear that in mind. For me, 6th gear through here, you could use 5th, but for me 6th works better. I get better drive and momentum, keep it within track limits, and then the final corner, black box on the right as your reference. Slam on the anchors, down to 4th, lots of inside curb, probably even more than that to be fair, and then make sure to get nice clean exit and be careful with the exit curb as it can mess up your traction. But there we go, a 32.2, and I know for a fact Thomas Ronhar is going a full second faster, and he's in F1 Esports. So yeah, the levels are insane. Ricciardo 33.5. That's kind of what we're looking at. So give me your lap times in the comments down below. With that said, I'll leave the setup in the background right now as I quickly say again, this game is free to play, guys. So if you don't have F1 or you haven't been able to afford it, this is your chance to try it out for free across all the platforms. So give it a go for a limited time only for this weekend's US Grand Prix at COTA. And yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed it. And a shout out to the A Creator Network and Daniel Ricciardo for making this possible. But guys, leave a like and subscribe for more, and I'll be back soon with some more videos. Until then, take care and let's go for me.
Jump into F1 22 today and beat my time on the Austin GP circuit. See you on the grid. EA Sports, it's in the game. I don't know what that was.